Okay. My audience member family. All right. All right, and welcome to another week of speech class. This is introductory video. So today, what I'm going to discuss is pretty much transmission media as far as internet and wideband in home use. So I'm going to go over some basic information. I'm also going to go over different types of transmission that we get internet on, and lastly, pretty much just cover some basic stuff that'll apply to what we have in our homes. So off we go, and I guess I'll give you guys a tidbit as far as maybe some jargon and stuff. So all media is pretty much passed into a series of bits, either 1 or 0. It's all an impulse. It's an on or an off. And what that means is pretty much you have bits. 8 bits equals a byte. A byte is essentially 1 character. So when you push the letter A, that's 8 bits of information, or 1 byte. So to continue, there's a common misconception. People get confused with megabits per second and megabytes per second. The megabytes per second pertains to data storage, so pretty much your hard disk drives or whatnot. But the megabits per second, that applies to the transmission of whatever it may be, a video game, streaming movies or whatnot. All right, so onto that, that'll lead me to talk about how we move stuff to and from different medias. So in transmission media, way back in the days of AOL online, we had a modem that connected at 56.6K per second. So like I said, that modem, it usually squawked and beeped and all that before you're able to connect with your internet service provider. But nowadays, for the most part, we have dedicated cable. So that's a lot faster. That usually could go anywhere between 15 megabits per second and 100 megabits, depending on what service you get with your internet service provider. Also, in select areas of the country, you do have gigabit networks. So that's all fiber optic. That's the newest thing. Everything else has been copper, using your existing phone lines or your cable company to get your internet service. But fiber optic, what makes that different is fiber optic uses light pulses versus electrical pulses used in the older technology. And so in continuing on with this, I'm going to pretty much I'm going to go on to how this applies to home, probably give you some tips on your home routers and all that. So like I said before, how we get internet service to your home could be a dial-up on cable, or places like San Francisco that they do have gigabit Ethernet. I mean, they're the lucky ones, but obviously it scales with price. So the faster you want to go, the more expensive it's going to be. So two manufacturers that are common for home use internet is usually like your Linksys or your Netgear and all that. So what those are actually your routers. Your routers will connect to the cable modem. The modem is what actually connects you to your internet service provider, like Cox Cable or Time Warner and stuff like that. So for the most part, what we use obviously is these wireless routers that connect to the modems. So along with that, the ISPs, the internet service providers, maximum speed that they can guarantee connecting to a router is 100 megabits. That's only if you're using the physical cable to connect directly to the back of the ports. In other cases, if you're doing the wireless, you're only going to go maximum of 30 megabits per second, despite what the box says. The box is going to say it's going to be 100 meg, but that's not entirely true, because you're limited to what the service provider's maximum is, and they can only guarantee usually about 30 megabits per second. Some common routers, obviously the basic stuff is for everybody. You can transfer at a slower speed, usually 2 to 5 megabits per second guaranteed. But as you get to the higher end for high definition streaming or video gaming with less lag. You tend to go towards a dual band router, which provides you 2 wireless channels versus the one in the lower models. But all in all, so this was just a quick overview of things that you can do with the network around the house. The best place would be to centralize the router so everybody gets the same signal strength to the connection. Well, in conclusion, I showed you guys, or I talked about the basic networking jargon, some quick info on all that stuff. I also went into the different types of transmission media, cables and whatnot, and fiber optics, and also a quick overview of just home use network with Netgear or Linksys kind of routers. Well, that is all for this week. I hope you all look forward to seeing your guys' speeches. With last thing is, my family didn't abandon me, so they're still here. That's awesome. Well, see you guys soon, and like I said, I'm looking forward to watching your videos. Thank you.